Okay, so before I start this presentation, I want to ask Dory, do you know anything about Asperger's or like at all?
No.
Okay, good. Because if you did, that would kind of defeat the whole point of this presentation. So basically what it is it's a form of autism that shows itself in difficulties communicating and pattern behavior. It affects every 4 in 1,000, which means on average there are about 360,000 babies born a day. 90,000 of them will develop Asperger's at some point in their life. It is also 4 times more likely to affect men than it is women. And it's a very difficult thing to diagnose because while some people develop it when they're a toddler, others don't develop it until they're a full-grown adult. So you can have Asperger's and not even know it. So some of the most common symptoms are someone with Asperger's does not always have the best social skills and they don't always keep eye contact with the person they're conversing with. They also live a very routine lifestyle and they get mad whenever that routine changes in any way. So for example, in this book I read about this girl with Asperger's, she had a routine for what she ate every day of the week. Like for example, one day she would eat only things with wheat in it, and the next day she would eat only things that are yellow. And so that would kind of cycle throughout the entire week and then start over again the next week. They have difficulty understanding their own emotions and interpreting the emotions of others. So with that being said, they don't really have a filter. They kind of just say whatever comes to mind and they don't really know that it could possibly be upsetting someone else. They also have a tendency to sometimes speak in weird or singing voices whenever they feel a certain emotion. So for an example, back to that book I read about the girl with Asperger's, whenever she got nervous, she would start to talk like Yoda from Star Wars, which is funny. Another symptom being that since they don't really understand emotions, they're not very affectionate people and they tend to stay within their own space. They won't go up to someone voluntarily and hug them because that's kind of weird to them. But it can also be very hard for them to understand simple questions or directions because they process things differently. They can still go to a regular school and attend regular classes, but some classes they'll excel in, some they won't do very well in. It all depends on what their interests are and how they understand things. So there's no defining cause of Asperger's. It could be genetic. There are a lot of cases in which it's common in families. So in one case, which is a case that Dr. Bashina told me about, the eldest son had Asperger's, while the younger brother had another form of autism. It could be environmental, depending on how you grew up and where you grew up. It could be caused by changes in the brain, especially the frontal and temporal lobes. It could be caused by pregnancy problems, such as if the mom had a viral infection while pregnant, complications during labor, and it could be caused by exposures to air pollutants and chemicals while still in utero. So some of the best treatment for Asperger's are doctors. Psychologists are great because they deal with behavioral problems and can help them by teaching them how to express their emotions properly and how to properly interpret the emotions of others. Psychiatrists deal with mental problems and they can help by prescribing medication. And developmental pediatricians can help because they deal with language and speech problems and they can help by giving speech therapy to help develop their social skills. And yeah, that's basically the end of my presentation.